Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night everybody. My name is Albert Tan from downloadsilo.com. Today I'm happy to be here, to do another Facebook live session. And our guest today is actually Tame from Predis.ai. So without further ado, I would like to introduce myself first and also what is the agenda of today's live session. So as everybody know me, I'm the founder of this downloadsilo.com and admin for this Download Silo Facebook group. So we are here to help people to use their LTD, to make a wise decision on what type of LTD, to buy and to actually use it properly. So today we have this Mr. Tame from Predis.ai. He's going to show us how to generate fresh social media ideas, and post it to various social media platform using his latest app called Predis.ai. So before we actually go into the proper demo, I would like to ask Tame a few questions. No, Tame, how are you?
I'm good, Albert. Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, that's good. So you are from India, right?
Yes, I'm from India.
Okay, that's good because we have a lot of Indian founders, So this is actually India will become a next tech giant, So in terms of software development,
Yes,
so
software
okay.
is software is absolutely booming in India. And what has happened is there have been a lot of startups, a lot of like I would say good valuations, nice funding rounds and all, which is why it is booming.
Yeah, that's true. So, but one of the what I call biggest thing that happened in 2021, that is last year, is AI what I call content creation. There are so many AI writer in the market, and I believe Predis is could be classified as one of them. So I mean, before we actually go into detail, I would like to ask, why do you choose this name? Predis.ai. Maybe the audience would like to know that.
Okay, so I'll tell you, we when we started building this product, the original idea was not even to build a content creator. Like when we started, we actually wanted to build a Grammarly for social media. Like to give you an example, the way I mean, if you write something today, Grammarly will tell you how can you improve it, what are the ways you could rewrite and stuff like that. So we wanted to do something similar for social media because obviously everybody wants to create content on social media. They want it to perform well, but it's an absolute black box. Nobody knows how or when or what can they do so that the content is better. So I mean, we were basically trying to build a predictive engine which will kind of tell you or give you suggestions on how could you improve. So we wanted predict.ai, but obviously it was very costly. So we were just trying to make up names. So couple of constraints. We just wanted to have an .ai domain because that is basically what we do. The social handles had to be available, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. And obviously the word should not have been more than 6 letters. I mean if you just keep on increasing, then it kind of becomes very complicated. So which is why I think we were just debating for a couple of days, and then finally we just said that okay, this is it, let's just keep it at Predis, which is kind of similar to predict. So that's the story.
That's nice. So of course, there are a lot of what I call AI writer, so called content creator, in the market. But then yours is actually different. You specialize in social media. I believe what you do is actually you create short. Most of them are short, description or whatever content that you are going to do. So I think you are actually away from the main competition. The competition is actually on maybe blog, long form, what I call content creation, that kind of thing. And the market is very fierce over there. So maybe you are actually choosing a better niche, I would say. And then some guy, I believe that they also go into email, on email marketing, so also on AI. So I believe this is a good niche you are in. So before we actually go into the demo, let me do some housekeeping. I believe there are some people already here. I see about 7 people in the stream. So hi guys, if you know that our rules, I would like you to actually what they call type your name so that you are actually, we can actually see your name and also your photo when you chat in the Facebook group. This is what I call to help restream, to project your name and also your photo so that we know who you are. So that is the best way for us to communicate with you. So guys, please do that so that we can actually communicate with you better. So, and we see that, there are a few guys here, Sujit, Tuhin Ka, and Sean D'Souza, and Alex Player. So good to see you again, guys. And we hope that you have a good session here. And without further ado, let's welcome what they call Tame, the founder of this Predis, to give him to let him demo to you how to generate fresh social media content in minutes, not in hours, in minutes. Okay, Tame, your turn.
Sure, thank you. Before I start, I see Alex and Shujor here. Just hi, hi guys. I keep on talking to both of them, which is why I kind of just noticed them. Glad to see you guys here. Okay, so let me just start with the demo. I am just sharing my screen. Okay, so quickly, like before I start with the demo, let me first talk a bit about what are we trying to do or what exactly is Predis.ai. So there are two parts to this product. One is it kind of helps you to generate social media content. Second is it kind of helps you to understand what or like what type of content is being posted by your competitors, which is working the best, which is working the, I would say, the worst. And overall, I would say long term aim or where we are as of today. So I think that we have kind of reached that stage where I could say that we are trying to build a social media intern for you or for your brand or for your company. The idea is that the intern, as of today, keeps on making some mistakes. Sometimes it's not very accurate. So obviously, it will keep on gaining more experience with more data, and hopefully, I aim to have it graduate to that level that it kind of becomes a social media AI assistant. So it kind of starts to give you very meaningful, very pointed suggestions. So let me start with a demo. So as I said, there are two parts. I will first explain to you how can you create content, and second, I will show you how can you look at your competitors. Creating content, I've just logged in. This is the basic screen, and once I click on create post, there are these multiple options which we have using which like the AI kind of gives you content. So first is how do you promote your business? So you can just give a one-liner about the business. Then if you want to promote a particular product, you can talk about a product. If you already have a campaign thought in your mind, then you can do that. In case, so in all of these three, what happens is you kind of give a one-liner input to the AI. The AI will first think of ideas that what could be posted. Then it will build on those ideas and give you creatives, captions, hashtags, everything. Now, in case you already have an idea about the post, that okay, this is what I'm trying to post, you just use this option. And with this, the AI will pick up your idea and make a caption and a creative using that idea. Fifth is we have recently introduced it. This is creating a post from scratch. So in this, no AI credits are used. This is a plain vanilla post creator screen. Everything is done manually. And as I said, like since there are no credits being used, you can create as many posts as you want. Now we'll just start with the first option, which is promote my business. So the most important thing here is a one-liner about the company. So if I just remove it, we have also tried to give a bad input and a good input. A lot of times, sometimes like if users come to us and tell us they are not really happy with the content, we kind of look at the inputs which they have given, and we kind of see that maybe they were not sufficient enough for the AI to understand what the business or what the product is about. So this is something you should always look at. Now I'll just give a one-liner about our business, our product, what we are trying to do. We support a lot of languages. I think 13 odd languages as of now. And you can also give input in one language and output in another language. The third part is post themes. Now, this is something we have worked hard on. So, essentially, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to give a lot of variety to your social media content. It is not necessary that you should always create a professional or an educational type of content. Ideally, there should be a lot of variety into the content, and which is why there are these different type of post themes. So, for example, you would want to have some behind the scenes type of posts or a contest or a polls. Right now, I'll just keep two promotional, educational, and I'll click on generate two post. So at this point, what happens is the AI will take that one liner into as an input, and it will start to think of ideas on what can you post. So what we see here is there are two post ideas which the AI has given. First is showcase how an AI program you created increased monthly sales by X%. Second is share a list of Instagram accounts that provide business oriented inspiration for social media. So I since I had given my business as an input, so I kind of would expect that these are some thoughts which I can post on our social handles, and I think both of them are fairly good. So now structurally how it happens is this is the idea, this is what the creative the AI has come up with, and this is the caption. Now, obviously, I mean, this is an educational kind of a theme, and the caption is also good. But then, obviously, the AI cannot know these facts, so it has kind of given a good, I would say, skeleton to play with, and then it is expecting us to fill in those details. So, what I'll do is I'll show you further based on how can you customize this idea. Now, first thing what you can do is you can edit those creatives or you can generate more creatives. Now, this is something we had faced a lot of, I would say, lot of user anger that our templates were not good, and this is something we have been constantly working on to improve. So as you see, we have a lot of templates, and when we started, these is what we had. They were fairly, I would say, limited, one single input and all those things. But as you see, as we have keep on evolving, we have started to introduce a lot of complex templates, and this is an update from last week only. So now the AI can also write multi-line, it can also have multiple images. So let me just try and generate a creative in this particular template. So what I'm expecting here is the AI will fill in a lot of images and multi-line text. It obviously needs some time for the template to be generated because there is a lot of processing which happens at the backend. And yes, this is how the output looks like. Now, what also has happened is, like for this demo, I'd already set up my brand kit. So if you see, all of these colors are kind of in our brand language. Let me just quickly show you one more example, maybe this one. Sorry. And from an LTD perspective, obviously, once the post is generated, that is when the credits are consumed. After that, you can generate these creatives as many times within a post, and they don't really consume any other post credits. Now, I have generated like three options. Now, next step, what I want to show you is there are these two options called as media library. Now, what happens behind the scenes is when the AI goes to make a creative, it kind of goes to Pexels and Unsplash, searches for a lot of images which might be relevant for this type of a post and kind of gets them. So what we show here is we are also showing those suggested images. Now let's see for this particular template, I do not like this creative. I would want to use another creative. So I'll just click on use in template, and what will happen is this creative will be adjusted or other would be entered into this particular template. So now as you see, I already have a different version. Let's say I want to make some more changes on it. I'll just click on edit creative, and a Canva like editor will open, and obviously all of those things which has been generated, they can be edited. So as you see, like all of these options can be edited. Maybe I would want to make this a bit smaller like this and stuff like that. So I'm not a very I would say good graphics person for sure, so please don't mind me editing this. So again, like another thing which I would want to point out, I think might be a bit of a bold statement, but yes, I we know that the creative is not as powerful as something like a Canva. But then honestly, we are not really trying to compete against Canva. The idea is that maybe the AI will become so strong that you don't really need a Canva to build your creatives. I mean, most of the work, as you see right now, the AI is doing, and obviously with time, it will improve. And yes, I mean, ideally, we would want to get to that stage wherein you don't really need to make a lot of changes in the creatives. So that is about the editing of creatives. Another thing which I want to show here is we also support asset library. So you can upload your own assets here within the asset space, and you can use them within the creative. So let's say, let me just pick up one of these, and within the media library, I have this option called as uploaded media, which is my own assets, and I can just use them the same way. So when I click on use in template, the AI will pick up my asset and replace it within this creative. This is especially helpful for a lot of businesses where I think they would want to have their own custom assets, custom images. They do not really want to depend on Unsplash or Pexels. So these were a few options around how can you do that. This kind of gets the creative bit done. Now, second piece is captions. So now with every post which is generated, we kind of give three caption suggestions, three ideas, and I think the captions are fairly well formed. As I said, like these are facts which the AI would not know. So obviously you are expected to fill that in, but otherwise I think these are fairly fine. I think I can, and if I don't like it, I can click on generate more. If I want to edit any of these captions, I can just click on this and let me just something like this. Now, if you notice this kind of change, so this is our way of showing you how will the post look like. This is like step two. Step three is hashtags. Now we have done a lot of work on getting these hashtags right. Backend at the backend, how it works is we have the Instagram hashtag library, which we keep on updating regularly. And whenever you ask the AI to generate hashtags, we do not simply do a normal search. We kind of understand what is the context of the post, what is the context of the creative, and then we kind of show you relevant hashtags for that. So now whatever you see here hashtags would be basically which the AI thinks would be best for this particular post. So now as you see there are these hashtags which have come, and I think from a context of the post these are very good. Now what we also do is we show you what is the reach of these hashtags, how big is this hashtag. Typically any Instagram expert will know that if I have a smaller account, I should not really use very large hashtags, something like social media, which has like 25 mil posts. I should rather do smaller hashtags. So for that, what we've done is we have this option of reach, which gives you small hashtags. Like social medias is a smaller hashtag. Social media support is again a smaller bit. So selecting hashtags is simple. Just click, 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 and it kind of comes here. That's it. And at the end, suggestions. This again is something. This was actually our original product when we were trying to build out Grammarly, an engine which kind of predicts how well can a post work. So how this works is the AI kind of learns from your handle whatever data you have given to it, and it kind of tells you how can you improve your post. So now there are multiple things which the AI has given. First is creative appeal. So we have trained this AI on more than 50 million images, and the AI kind of understands what might make a good image for Instagram. So now it is kind of telling me 68% audience will find this appealing. So my hunch, or the way we have kind of seen people using it, you should at least aim for an 85% score. I mean, and at that time the images start to become very good. Number of hashtag it's saying is fine, length of caption is fine. What is not good is posting hour. So it is kind of telling me that for my handle, ideal time to post is 6 p.m. I think typically I kind of post around that time, which is why maybe that it's telling that. Day of week, it's telling me that instead of today, which is a Monday, we should post it on a Saturday. So using this I can actually improve my post. A lot of times it will give me examples of maybe hashtags are not right or caption is too short, too long, and stuff like that. So I'm expected to kind of take those suggestions into account. So this is all about generating or creating a post, and by default whatever post is generated, it kind of gets added to the calendar. Let me show you the content calendar. This is how our content calendar looks like as of now. Yes, it's primarily from a planning perspective only. We do not have scheduling or publishing as of now, but yes, that's something we are working on. We are expecting to finish Facebook and Instagram scheduling publishing by end of next month. So let's see. So at that point of time, you will start to see options wherein if you want to schedule or publish, you will be able to do that. As of now, if you have to publish, either you could download this post manually from here like this, which kind of gives you a text file with all the information, or we have an option to export. So I think these are most of the tools which are liked by the LTD community. So you can just select, let's say if you have Publer, if you use Publer, you can select Publer, you can select a date range, click on download. It will give you all of the posts which you kind of see here, and this can directly be imported into Publer. So this is again something which is used by a lot of users, and we are hoping that once we kind of get the scheduling publishing live, we would want to really nudge a lot of people to use Predis.ai for their entire workflow. So this was all about. Okay, so I kind of there is one more piece from a content creation perspective. We have also launched flows for Shopify and WooCommerce. So what we've done is essentially one of our target audience is also e-commerce, I would say store owners, and we have kind of realized that there are a lot of e-commerce store owners, but then for some reason the social handles are not very active. And I absolutely understand, like I'm an entrepreneur, a lot of times social media content creation does take a backseat, and I think that was also one of our reasons to build this product. Like before Predis, I had another startup which I ran for a good 6.5 years, scaled it to a good level, and raised funding, and I finally had a successful exit. I sold that to the largest digital media company in India. So, and that time, I mean, this was something which I kind of realized, that social media content creation kind of always used to take a backseat. I mean, we always used to, I would say, hard pressed for time. Whenever you said to make a social media content, you always feel that, I mean, just get a mental block and stuff. So coming back, so this is a section which is for e-com store owners. To use it, you can just go to Manage Workspace, and you can set up your Shopify store, Woocommerce, other e-commerce platforms. All of your products will be listed here. So let's say I will use one of these products. I'll use, let's say, this shoe, women's tree runner, the same screen, and I'll just create two posts for it. Now what happens is, what the AI does is, it will pick up the content information from Shopify. It will pick up the product name, the description, the image, everything from Shopify, and it will create two posts. So now if you see, I made a promotional post which kind of says share a special discount for placing order, and it gave a very good caption. For making this easy for your feed, we have, wow, I think this is nice. And the second one is share a post of what color works best with this shoe. I think this is also fine. And okay, now I am assuming you have noticed that there is something missing with this image. So I'll tell you why. Because we were trying to be super smart, and we also implemented background removal as part of this process. So this is the original photo, and what the AI does is it picks up the image and also removes the background while setting it up in this template. Why we did that? Because we kind of assume that it will be much better. Obviously, for most of the creatives, like typical e-commerce products, it kind of works well. But then yes, there are some edge cases where it does not. So I mean, yes, and since we are trying to improve. Now we also have a lot of good template options for e-commerce, and again the same flow works in terms of I'll just click, let's say, this one. So why this is happening, I have set up my brand colors, which is why it's kind of giving me everything in blue. So this again, like the rest of the process is the same, just that the way you give an input kind of differs. So in the first space, you can give a one-liner text. In this, you don't even need to do that. Just select a product and it will start making a posts. So this was all about the content creation bit. Should we take a break and ask any questions, or should I continue and finish the demo? I think let me continue the demo. I'll go to the competitor analysis section. Okay, so competitor analysis again is something which is very interesting, and I dare say I don't really think I have come across a lot of products which kind of do it. Before I show it what does it do, I'll quickly talk about what is it and how can you kind of use it. Obviously, what it does is, I mean, let me just give you an example. Let me just open Instagram. This is Allbirds, which is an e-commerce company in US. They sell shoes. Let me just open their yeah. This is Allbirds Instagram. Now, if let's say you were competing against Allbirds, or you were Allbirds, and if you have to figure out what is the type of content which is actually making sense for them, this is something which is very difficult, not very easy to do. So what we have done is, we have built an AI which kind of takes Instagram handle as an input. It will download all of the posts using Instagram official APIs, and then tell you what is the best and what is the least performing content category. So it kind of divides the content into different themes. Now this is the Allbirds handle, and obviously, I mean, they have different content themes, which is true for any handle. So now what it does is, we like adding is very simple. I'll just go to manage competitors. I can add as many handles as I want to, and the AI will start running this analysis. Once the analysis is done, you see the output something like this. So as you see, I mean, there are different content themes. These are lamps. Then there is, I think, office. These are storefronts. These are models running in a certain format. I think this again is a different type. This seems like behind the scenes or exercise. and stuff like that. So obviously, I can make out distinct content categories. These are shoe photography in a particular format. So there are distinct content themes which I can make out here. Now, to first understand which is the best performing theme for all birds, I'll just sort it by the engagement percentage. And yes, the lamps is something which is the best performing category for all birds. Now, if you ask me, I am definitely surprised. It's a shoe brand. They do a lot of I would say content around shoes, and the best performing category is this. And let's just quickly, if you click on it, it will take you to that particular post. And yes, I mean this is first Feb, and yes, this one. Now, this type of content, which has a lot of share of voice, almost 10%, and total post is 46 around out of 500 posts. This is also doing well. Let me do it the other way around, which is the least performing content. So I just sorted the other way around. Oh, sorry. Let me first show you. So all birds, if you see the average engagement, it's around 0.53%. It's a very large handle actually. uh, yes, 472,000 followers, and the average engagement is this. On an average, posts get likes and comments of 2.5 thousand. Now the best performing theme is getting much larger than that. So as you see, I mean this is practically two times, 2.5 times. This theme is also doing good. Now the themes which are not doing well are these. Now, the worst performing themes are actually half of their average engagement. So this is something which is definitely not these type of, I would say, photo shoots are definitely not resonating with their audience. So if I was now, I'll come to the use case. How can you use it? So three primary use cases. Obviously, if I own a handle, I can look at this to audit my own performance. I can sort it by the range, like what time, and kind of figure out trends, that what is the content being liked by my audience, what is the content which is disliked. That's one. Second, obviously, as the name suggests, competitor analysis. You can look at any public Instagram handle because that is what is allowed by the API, and you can kind of analyze their content and kind of get inspired. A third and a very interesting use case which we kind of discovered is a lot of agency users have started to use it for pitching to new potential customers. So they kind of run this for their potential customer, tell them that okay, this is your content theme which is doing well, this is not doing well, and they also run this on their potential customers competitors. So they also kind of figure out that okay, these are the trends, and then they kind of come up with a data backed strategy that okay, this is some type of content which you should do because this is something which is working for your competitors. So this is all about the competitor analysis section. As of now, you can look at Instagram and Facebook both, and yes, we do plan to add more platforms here. So I think from a demo bit, this is what I have. So I think let's start to look at questions. Are you guys with me? Okay.
Okay. There are
I-
so many buttons, you know. So okay. So you have finished more or less your demo.
yes.
Okay, good. You know, so I mean, this is just halfway through the what I call our timing. You know, the timing is good, and we have a lot of questions. You know, so and we also about maybe 20 people are watching right now. So showing that you know your Predis.ai is actually catching some attention from the audience.
Oh,
Okay, so okay, I find that you know there's one very what I call a unique feature of this, you know, the competitor analysis. Actually, how do you do it? You know, I mean how is your what I call what is the background? How do you actually get all this data from? You know, and how do you do it? You know, I mean you don't have to tell the secret, but then just as a rough, you know, uh,
I
yeah.
understand. Okay. So before I answer, I'll just give you a background about the team. So as I said, I have been an entrepreneur for the last 8, 9 odd years. I think I passed out in 2009, and I worked for 2 years and then started my first venture. And this is my second venture. My two co-founders, Akshay Akash, both are IIT Roorkee pass outs, IIT Indian Institute of Technology. I am sure you would not know, but that's like the most premier institutes, engineering institutes in India. Practically, you could say top 0.5% engineering talent, and they have a lot of AI ML experience. Worked in a lot of high growth AI ML startups, and also won a lot of international competitions. So they are kind of the tech brains behind this. I look more from a product or a distribution perspective. So now, to answer this at a very high level, the AI, now since I said we kind of get data from Instagram official APIs. So what I did not show in interest of time was you have to link your Instagram business handle with Predis.ai so that we can get access to it. Now, once the AI downloads the Instagram post, it gets the caption, it gets the creative, it also gets some comments. So our AI kind of goes through each and everything and kind of understands the context behind the post. And once we get that, then it is kind of grouped into different themes, and that's how we kind of see this. Like, that's how we are able to generate those themes. Now, obviously, we've spent a lot of time. I mean, you won't believe, but I think we spent close to 4 months just to get that algorithm right, which is the kind of output which you see as of now.
I see. So it must be very complex algorithm.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, those data, I mean, the competitive data, do you store it in the server, or is it you have to generate it every time, we click?
So we are actually not supposed to store that data. So we kind of get that, we kind of derive those insights and store the insights only. So if you see, when I clicked on it, it kind of opened the Instagram post in itself. And obviously, there are a lot of, I would say, guidelines or rules which we have to follow because we are officially integrated with Facebook and Instagram. And they also do like periodic edits like every 6 months, which is why.
Mhm. Okay, that's good. And okay, before we actually go into the chat to answer all this question, I think one of the most important thing about this what they call our LTD community is a roadmap. So can you
Yes.
show us your roadmap? Because I mean, you can explain, because there are some questions, you can actually explain it in your roadmap. Yeah, let's.
Sure. So I'll take you through the roadmap. So there are two parts to the roadmap. One is the public roadmap, which I would say this is the Trello. Okay. So first thing, my screen is visible, right? Okay. So first thing is, since we launched in April, that is when we did our first product and launch. We had just launched, like the MVP was out, and we thought let's just go out and I would say do the worst possible thing, and we kind of did that. So the product and launch was kind of a failure that time, and hopefully, I mean, we are basically planning to do another launch maybe by end of this month. So we have been updating the roadmap very religiously since then, and obviously we do intend to keep on updating it. So you will find month by month progression. So you can also see how has the product kind of evolved. Like, this was the long time back. This is how the screen used to look like. I mean, I know our current UI is might not be the most suitable, but if you look at it, I think we have still covered some distance. So this is how the roadmap looks like. In terms of the immediate items, I would say next 3 months, if you want to know that what are the big ticket items which would get delivered. Team members is something which should be out by end of this month. Workspace management. When I say workspace management, there is this concept of you could manage multiple workspaces. Every like one code gives you two, and you can stack max up to three. So right now there was no option to edit or deactivate or delete a workspace. What we are adding now is we will give you an option to deactivate a workspace and create another one in its place. So why are we doing that? Because obviously a lot of client agency users or who are freelancers, they kind of wanted it because they also want to preserve data for a particular client and they would want to create another one. So that's another one. Publishing scheduling, as I said, we are at least targeting Instagram and Facebook by end of next month. That's something which should kind of happen. And apart from that, templates. So I also touched upon templates which we are making. So more and more templates should go out. I mean, we actually have a designer on board, and we are internally targeting 50 new templates per week. And obviously, you will start to see more and more complex templates. Last and a very important piece is this whole competitor analysis bit. This I know looks kind of dated, though it's very powerful. Maybe we are not able to explain a lot of data inside this. So we are definitely planning to spice it up, give you more, I would say, the traditional kind of analytics which some other platforms give. I mean, they are fairly statistical in nature. I don't think so they do any AI. But yes, I mean, these four are the big rocks which we are targeting in the next 3 months. And apart from that, you would not see a lot of I mean, my internal roadmap, obviously, I can't show you. That would have at least 80 to 85 items. But obviously, I mean, our strategy has been that we will have very large ticket items here and something which is ready to be shipped that will kind of come here. So that's how our roadmap looks like.
Gosh, that's a lot actually, So basically, I think, I mean, you have come a long way, since your first what I call launch in, I think in you first
April.
launched in Pitch Ground, right?
Yes, 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 yes. So what
I remember
happened?
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we first launched on this ground, and honestly, it was a disaster. And the product was also not in a very, I would say, good shape. I mean, it was, I think, a very small MVP. So that is why. But yes, I'm still glad. So actually, today, I think 15th of Jan last year is when I came out of my last job. Like when I sold my last startup, I was working there, and I came out, and I think it is actually one whole year when we have been building this like full time.
Yeah, I think I remember that, but then I think that is a past, So I would say you have done well, along the journey, ups and down, But then I believe, Predis will get better, from your roadmap,
Thank you.
from the effort that you have put in, So okay, maybe we should start answering all those questions,
Sure,
on the right
sure,
hand side. So Tami, can you see the chat, all the question?
sure. So I'll
Okay,
start.
I will just project whatever that is there, then you can answer it, So I mean those high and so then I don't project it. Let's scroll down. Okay, that just this is the question.
Okay, do we have an option to read through URL, website, domain, and creative get generated? We have this option wherein you can give us a Shopify URL and we read through that. And we definitely do have this in the roadmap. I'll tell you the technical complexity behind this. When you say parsing a website, I mean, there is a lot of data which needs to be parsed. And yes, we will have this in someday, but not right now.
Okay, that's good. Next question or
Can we create
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn polls using the polls option? Okay, so as of now, whatever I would say content gets created, it's kind of very generic, and we ourselves like we kind of use it to push content on all different platforms. And I know a lot of users who are also using it. So I think you can just try to generate some polls. I think they are fairly generic, and I'm sure you can use them for LinkedIn also.
Yeah, I think templates are actually very important, for all. I mean, LTD community, most of them are agency or small business owner. So with templates, if you have a lot of templates, it saves a lot of time. Actually, a lot of time. So I couldn't, emphasize more. So let's move to the second, the next question.
Can I create more own templates? Yes, you can actually. I did not show that piece, but we have an option called as custom templates. You can build your own template and the AI will use it. There is one step in between that, which is a review. And Alex, if he's there, I'm not sure if he's listening. So we were actually lagging a lot on approving a user template. And there is still some backlog, but yes, very soon we should be able to clear it. So why this review is important is because we need to make sure that the template kind of falls under the guidelines, and it also needs to be converted into an AI readable format. That's it. But yes, I mean, all in all, you can have your own templates, and users are using it now.
Yeah, nice. So move to the next question.
Can you show how can we set our brand color so that all posts look uniform? Okay, sure. I'll just, oh, sorry, my screen I'll just share. Yeah. So when you go inside the manage workspace option, there are multiple options here. First one is the brand details. This is where like this is my particular workspace, which is Predis.ai. And you have all of these options: primary, accent, font color, font. You can also use your own custom font if you want. Just click on it and upload your font. Social handles, hashtags if you want. All these will be by default part of your caption. We also have two different type of logos, like one for a light background, one for a dark background. So the AI kind of understands what's the background on which the logo is supposed to be placed and picks up the right one accordingly. So this is how you can set up your brand details. While we are at it, I'll also quickly show you integrations. So Instagram and Facebook, what we have. Shopify, the URL bit, just put in the store URL and save. We'll read the products. WooCommerce, you'll have to upload a CSV. Other e-commerce platforms, maybe something like an Amazon or I think a lot of other e-commerce platforms. You can just download a sample CSV and upload. And this is the templates. So this is that create custom template option. There are some rules, and once I click on it, I go to create template, and yes, so it's a blank canvas. I can either pick one of these. I would say ready templates. Maybe I just make some changes. I can click on submit for review. That's it. Once I do it, then we kind of approve, and you can start using this template. So this was about how could you set up the brand kit. I'll come back.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next question. The speed of Predis when creating posts seems slow. Is this wrong?
That is not wrong actually. So I'll tell you there are a lot of things which happen at the backend for the post to be created. I mean, just in I think sequential order. The AI reads the input. What have you given? Then it first thinks of ideas. What has to be thought. Then it goes to Unsplash and Pexels to get the right creatives. Then it kind of grades those creatives, which is the best creative, selects that, then kind of fills it into the actual image to generate that image and shows you. So I know, I agree that it's not very optimal. It takes like 30-40 seconds for a post to be generated. And we would definitely would want to improve that in future. I mean, we need a lot more server resources, all of those computing powers, which we have optimized for now. Obviously, with time, we would want to improve it.
Okay, come back to this AI generation speed. I believe GPT-3 is one of your models. So I believe you also have some other models that are
Yes.
working behind your server, right? So I mean, how do you actually optimize this kind of technology? So I mean, very briefly, just let us know
So
because in the
I'll
market
tell you.
right now, for example, those AI content long form generation, uh, the competitors are actually coming up with like framework, AI learning from what we feed them, So I'm not sure about your platform.
Okay, so I'll tell you the biggest problem which we have is GPT or OpenAI, which kind of houses GPT. They have this rule that GPT output cannot be used for social media content. So GPT for us, we do use GPT-3, the DaVinci engine, but it's a very small, I would say 10% part of our product because primarily that output cannot be used for captions and all those things. So we have a lot of other models which we kind of rely on. I think that also took us a lot of time because we were not able to get approval from them for this, and we did experiment with a lot of models. And yes, so as you rightly said, a lot of models, a lot of it is also homegrown AI, which kind of generates that. And coming to that other thing, yes, I think competition is intense because I mean, practically, if you look at it, the tech GPT is now open for everybody. I mean, it is practically up to you. How could you build a good UI and kind of showcase it to users? I think it's more. I don't think so. Like in that long form, till the time you don't start to build your own models, I'm not sure like how are you going to compete. I think it will be just competition on the price.
Okay. I mean, I say competition. Actually, I'm talking about long form generation. So, okay, come back to your competition. Uh, I don't know who is this guy who asking because he didn't put the name. On Koya, I don't
Yes,
think they have
similar
very.
to Okay, right? But don't think they have the brand kit. Also, they use Canva integration with it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think Okoya and we are kind of different. Why? Because Okoya is more like DIY. I mean, you give it an input. Sorry, you give it an input, and the AI will give you multiple options. What type of, and you kind of use them to make your own post. What we are trying to do here is, I mean, if you see, we are trying to do one step ahead. Like the AI kind of does everything for you, and with time obviously the AI will improve further. The idea, as I said, is you should not really need image editor, or you should not really need a AI content generator wherein you actually I would say key in each and everything, kind of club them together and make a post. So we are more a do done for you kind of a model is what we have. And yes, Okoya has Canva integration, but I think their basic tool, or rather the image editor which they have, is basically Crello. It's a white label Crello.
Okay. Good to know because I think, I mean, different app have different capability. So let's move to the next question. Okay, two active workspace, social set.
Yes.
No,
What does
that's
it mean? Okay, so one workspace basically corresponds to one brand. I mean, it could be your in-house brand or it could be one of your clients, whoever I would say you are advising. So yes, and social handles as of now, since we only support Instagram and Facebook, those were the two options that you saw. But yes, as we keep on adding more platforms, you will start to see all of those options within that workspace.
okay. Let's move to the the next question. Okay, I
Is it
think this is
wrong? Predis created
supplemental.
a caption and creative fast. Um, I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree that it does take some time, but yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, we are trying to optimize. We'll need some time because needs a lot of servers and GPUs are not cheap at all. Trust me.
Okay, so this Tuhinka was talking about, so of course, the more you generate, the more your credit would eat
Okay,
up.
so yeah, so it's not exactly like that. So I think I had tried to touch upon that. Can you just please put my screen? I'm just trying to show something. So the credits are consumed when these posts are created. So once I have created a post, for example, this is a post which is created. Within the caption tab, we give you two more options. So for one credit, if I want to call it that way. So with every generated post for every credit, it will give you one of this and three caption options. So you can basically edit or mix and match whatever you want to do. The creatives do not really have I would say, an limit. You can practically generate as many creatives, make as many changes as you want. Another thing what we've done is we also have implemented a duplication of a post. Let's say I like this post, but I think I can make some changes and make it into two posts. So I will just duplicate it, and now there are two posts. One is duplicate, one is promotional. I will go inside this, change the creative. This again is not costing you any AI credits, like that your 60, that limit is still there. And suddenly now if you see, I have two different posts. Obviously the caption also, what I'll do is, since okay, so inside duplicate I can't generate a different caption, but in the original post I can still generate up to three captions. So I'll generate all three and I'd use another caption on it. So suddenly while we were talking, I've kind of made two different promotional posts for you.
Okay, that's a good tips. Okay. Yo, this question is
How posting time is calculated? Is it based on the time zone? Okay, so as of now, we do not have honestly have a concept of posting time because we don't have scheduling. It is kind of defaulted to. Okay, so in terms of suggestions, if you're asking, yes, it is to your time zone. The AI assumes that whatever your time zone is, that is the time when you're trying to publish that post, and it kind of gives you suggestions accordingly. But yes, as we go near publishing and scheduling, you will have an option wherein you can set in the date and time, and then the AI will pick that up and give you suggestions accordingly.
okay. That's good.
Can we migrate workspaces if clients decide to transfer to in-house? Asking because I prefer to train clients than do monthly work for them. Okay, so yeah, the concept is that let's say you have two codes and you have four workspaces, and you decide to deactivate one of them. So you will have three active workspaces and one I would say open space. So you can create another workspace in that space, and you will have four active and one deactivated workspace. If in future you want to take that client back to active, you will have to deactivate one of your active and kind of make that older one live again. So all I'm saying is you can have as many deactive workspaces, but you the maximum active workspaces will be maximum of your plan. And while we are on it, when you create a workspace, you cannot deactivate that workspace for a minimum of 1 month. Why did we do that? To I would say preserve the sanctity of the plans, because otherwise users can just keep on creating and deactivating, and it really, I mean, there are no limits otherwise. So that's the only limit. Otherwise, as I said, your deactivated workspaces will remain preserved. Whatever posts were inside those workspaces will be preserved. You can even navigate to those workspaces. You can see those posts. Just that within those workspaces, you cannot do any generation. That's it.
Okay, good to know that.
How many posts can be scheduled at one go? I mean, potentially, I mean, once we implement scheduling, I don't think so we would have any limit. I think if there are limits, imposed by some platforms. I think every platform will have its own policies, and we are still trying to figure that out. But yes, whatever limits are imposed by the platforms, those will be the limits. We won't enforce any limit at our end.
But would they will us be penalized by those platform, if there is no control?
Yes, yes, obviously. So, which is why we can't go beyond that. Whatever are the rules they have set, we will have to follow them. Obviously, for us, we would want to have our APIs integrations with them. We don't want to get penalized. Another thing I think would be a very important thing would be the I would say life of the tokens. For example, if you link your Facebook page with Predis.ai, the token which you get is valid for 60 days, and after 60 days, you compulsorily have to I would say relink your account. That is basically Facebook security practice to make sure the tokens do not get misused. So that might also be one of the, I would say, limiting factors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Great news on integrations. Are the integrations native? Yes, I mean they are native integrations. I tried to speak to a few people, and they were pretty costly, and which is why we kind of decided that we will build it in house.
Okay. So talk about LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn in terms of computer analysis, it should be happening soon. Mostly, I think by end of March is what we are targeting, and then it will also be available for content creation and scheduling posting.
Good.
According to which country is it showing the posting hour and day? Okay, so it kind of takes your local time zone. So from the browser, we are able to give take your time zone and kind of suggests you accordingly. What we will also have is, in case you want to give the AI that your client is in some other time zone, we will have an option wherein you could set that within the workspace, and the AI will take that time zone into account.
Okay.
So when you are exporting it, only export text. What are the images that created? Okay, so there are two type of exports. The single image, the single post is exported as a text file, and the scheduling platform exported is a CSV file, a comma separated value file, and images are present in both of those exports as URLs. So when you upload it to, let's say, a Publer automatically will read images from those URLs, and it works. When you are downloading a single image, single file, that time you will have to copy that URL and download that image.
Okay, that's nice.
Any scope with direct integration with our posting? Yes, definitely it is on the roadmap. Timeline, I cannot commit to you. I mean, I typically try and commit only for 1 quarter. Can you tell us more about the computer analysis feature on the roadmap? Okay, so I think maybe this comment came in before I was showcasing computer analysis. So, would you have, I'm not sure if you have seen it. Would you have, like, is there anything in particular which I should show you about the computer analysis? I
Yeah.
think let's wait, maybe he will reply.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the next question.
Social media platforms available for right now, there are no platforms available for direct posting. We are targeting Facebook and Instagram both by end of next month.
Okay. Let's the link to the roadmap. You have actually shown the roadmap.
So link to the roadmap is available on our website. So if you open the website, at the bottom there are a lot of links. The product roadmap link is also there.
Yeah, it's also on available on our Facebook post, so
Yes, yes,
no
yes.
issue.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Tier one enough for personal use.
I mean, see, with tier one,
It
you kind
depends.
of get 60 AI generated posts, and you can duplicate them, edit them, all of those things. So typically, I mean, we kind of designed it that way that it should be enough for our personal use. I mean, personally, I don't think so. You would do more than one post a day, because typically that is what everybody does. And that kind of gives you 30 posts. And 60 AI generated posts will easily let you make 30 posts for sure.
Okay. TikTok.
Yes, TikTok is on the roadmap, and I'll tell you a very interesting thing since we are on it. So, not sure how many of you know, but TikTok is banned in India. So so you can't even access TikTok servers or TikTok URLs from India. So when we implement TikTok, we'll have to actually take servers maybe in the US and do all the TikTok analysis on those.
I mean, TikTok is actually very popular in Southeast Asia.
Yes,
especially
yes.
in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. So I
It's
didn't know. India actually banned TikTok. So I mean, there was a time. This what the former president also want to ban TikTok or something in US.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Trump wanted to ban TikTok.
I mean, they are getting big, and a lot of
Very big.
what I call good videos actually up there. So
Yes.
I don't know. That is the future. So let's move on. Okay.
Are there plans to use a corporate? Yes, yes. I mean, this is actually one of the long-term plans. So right now they are kind of disjoint features. But yes, the plan is that someday within the competitor analysis, we'll have an option create like this, and it will kind of take inspiration for that from that particular post and make you a post in your context. That is definitely yes. I mean, on the roadmap.
Okay. How many competitors will be monitored simultaneously?
I mean, upper limit is your plan limits. So let's say if you have one code, you have 20 analysis runs per month. So now either you can analyze one competitor 20 times in a month, or you can do 20 competitors once a month. So simultaneously, if you are doing 20, you can practically have 20 competitors and run that analysis once.
Okay, that's good. So, oh, agency plan. C name. Is there a C name?
No, I am sorry, we do not have that. And honestly, we the LTD plans are not really built for agencies. And I mean, the very honest and very upfront, I would say, explanation for that is, I honestly don't think LTD plans should be given out for agencies. I think it's just a long-term scope for disaster. I mean, especially when you look at something which is cost intensive as an AI generation. So that was the reason why we did not have it. While I say that, yes, we are offering some very nice discounts, practically 40% perpetual off on all of our subscription plans, and we intend to kind of onboard the agencies on MRR only. I mean, I know I am losing out on some potential LTD money, but for me, the 3 year, 4 year down the road, the kind of risks which I would take are too much. So that's why we kind of took this decision.
Okay, so basically it's because of cost consideration. So I mean, fair enough because I mean, if you take into cost and consideration, we don't want you to go bankrupt by just giving agency LTD. At the end of the day, you cannot fulfill your promise and you shut down the system.
Yes.
So, but then you promise to give us a good discount, right? If we actually go for agency plan later.
Okay, so I mean, as part of our deal itself, what we have done is for every AppSumo code holders, they already have an option to avail a 40% perpetual off on all the subscription plans. That is what we've already done. And one thing extra, what we have done is, if you do the highest stack, which is three tiers, we also give you an option to pause and resume. So why are we doing that? I kind of before we did this LTD, I was active in a lot of Facebook LTD groups, and I kind of heard that users, there are people who have kind of got such discounts, and just to lock in that price, those subscriptions are active. And I don't think so. I mean, that should be done. I mean, if you're not using a product, you're not using it. Which is why we kind of have also given a pause option that, let's say in the future you don't want to use Predis for whatever time, let's say whatever 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. So you can practically pause that subscription, preserve the rate, and for a maximum of 1 year you can come back and resume it, and the rate obviously would get preserved.
I think that is a good what they call stopgap measure, because sometimes people have some agency work to do,
Yes.
so maybe they can just start the what they call the agency plan, then they can pause it, if there's, I mean, they finish the project, that kind of thing. So that's good. Okay, yeah, can we answer this question? How fresh is the
So,
analysis data?
it's absolutely when you click on submit or analyze, we kind of get that latest data from Facebook or Insta and use it. Now, let's say 2 months later, if you come back, you will have to refresh again. That will be counted as one run, and at that refresh, we'll get the new set of data and kind of give it.
Okay. If you allow me to share the content.
Sure, sure. I mean, let's see. I mean, what it is created.
Okay. I
I'm
mean,
not sure. I mean, Albert, if you Can he present his screen? I'm not sure. I'm not really aware of Restream.
Hmm. I mean, UX and UI, is I mean, a lot of people talking about UX, so, but then it's also depend on the person, I believe some people say that, oh, this is not acceptable to me, but then to another person, hey, this is acceptable to me, you know.
I agree, I agree. It's like a taste of food. Same
Yeah.
food two people eat. I mean, one would say it's very good, one would say it is this.
Yeah.
But yes, all said and done, I kind of agree that it can be improved. And yes, I mean, we do have that on the roadmap. I mean, there are some big features which we want to implement, and this we'll definitely look at UX. I think if you just come one step back, I think somebody wanted to share the screen. Can we allow them to share the screen? I also would want to see the content which was generated. But my only question is, Som, would you have do you have a code? Because I mean, if your plan is expired, then I don't think so. You can access that data. I mean, that's a limitation, unfortunately. I think let's just let him answer that. And meanwhile, we'll look at Nirayan's question. Unique tool, do you think are biggest competitors? Okay, so at a very high level, I mean, if you are a VC and you were asking me that, our biggest competitors would be Canva, because I think we would want to take the AI to that level where you don't need Canva. Copy AI Jarvis. I am on both of those Facebook groups. They might remove me if they come to know, but they did some polls within those groups, and apparently a lot of users, I think 60-70% users, were using Copy AI to generate social media content. So obviously then they are also one of my competitors. I would rather want those users to not use Copy AI but to use us, because we are more niche. We give more options from a social media content perspective. So this is basically, these two are our biggest competitors.
Okay, thank you for your information. Let's move on.
When linked is, if we reactivate the workspace, yes, that, yes, as I said, like the older data would be preserved. When you reactivate, you can continue from there.
Okay, there's just a statement.
Yes.
Okay, beta list.
Oh wow. Beta list. Yes, yes, yes.
The beta list,
And
I mean, is maybe the first platform you.
yes, yes, yes. So when we had launched that time, so I had just gone and filled in all of these platforms just so that maybe the word could get spread. And now I mean, again, I'm starting to do the same thing.
Okay, I don't understand this. You will share your custom platform with your
Okay.
members?
So when you create a custom template, there is an option, a checkbox, which you need to tick if you want to make that template public. By default, it is unchecked, which
Oh,
means
I
the
see.
template would be private. And if you select that, then yes, I mean, we kind of assume that you have given us the permission to kind of make it public, and that is the only time when we will kind of make it public in our library.
Okay, I think it's
What's the
cheaper
difference
in
between
AS Plus.
Predis.ai and AS Plus versus regular? It's actually the same deal. The AS Plus deal is kind of cheaper than the regular. I think that's AppSumo's way of kind of selling you the Plus exclusive membership. That's it. For me, I mean, why I did that was because I was, as a marketplace deal, I was not getting any exposure on the AS main page, and with Plus exclusive, though the commissions are higher, but they kind of promised us, and we kind of see that we are at least on the AppSumo main page. So the normal AppSumo user at least is becoming aware of Redis. That's why.
Okay, maybe we can. You have to
Compared
answer
to
this
Okoya.
question again.
Yes,
Okoya.
yes, sure, 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 absolutely. So one thing which I will never compete with Okoya is their limits. And yes, I know they have been very generous, and I wish them all the best. Apart from that, I think fundamentally they are different tools. Okoya is a more do-it-yourself kind of a tool. You have different options. You can create your copy, then you can open a Crello, make your own creative by selecting a template and all of those things. So, I mean, as I said, it's a do it yourself DIY tool. What we are trying to do, we are trying to do a done for you kind of a tool, wherein the AI will do all of that heavy lifting. The AI will figure out a caption, the AI will make a creative for you, and then if you want, you can go out and polish it. So, I mean, from a workflow perspective, I think maybe let's do it this way. If you had to create a post using Predis, you would put a one liner and click on enter. The AI will give you a nice looking post with the creative or caption. With Ukoya, if you had to create a post, you would go to the content creator. You would first copy the let's say the caption, then you would open Crello, like that white label editor, and you would create you would make a creative by selecting a template and then kind of use them to schedule a post. So that's basically the difference between these two tools.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that there's a different kind of a workflow,
Yes,
I mean, good
correct.
to know. Okay. Yeah, move on. Okay. I think this has been answered. No, no, Suresh, this has been answered right in the beginning.
I'll quickly
Maybe
yeah,
just
I'll
answer
quickly
one
tell.
more time.
Yeah, sure, sure, no problem. I mean, so we wanted predict.ai because I mean we were trying to predict a lot of things, but we did not get it. It was very costly. So we wanted a AI domain. We wanted all social handles would be available. And if you go to, I mean, if you try to figure out a name, it's so difficult. I mean, any name you can think of, people already have taken the .com and all of those domains. So this was the only made up. I mean, there were others. They were more strange than this. So this was the only made up good word we could figure out, which was near to predict, and also had a .ai, was less than six characters, had all the social handles and all. That's why the name.
Okay, this question is GPT-4 coming. I don't
What
know.
when GPT-4 comes, yeah. And so I'll tell you, if you are following the AI world, so there are other models by a lot of other companies which have started to claim that they are better than GPT-3. And yes, so I think the way the content is getting created, that will also start to improve. But then what also has started to happen is OpenAI and these large companies have started to kind of get a bit scared because of the capabilities of these models. So we'll not even know for sure that if they are I would say released, how many I would say use cases are allowed. For example, with GPT-3, our use case, social media content creation, is not allowed. So I mean, we can't really use GPT-3 fully to use it. So with GPT-4, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll know very soon whenever they decide to launch. But yes, as I said, there are other models which are already on the horizon, which are much better than and much, I would say, faster, much efficient than GPT.
Yeah, I think the market is getting hotter, So all the big competitors, Google, Microsoft, they are actually competing with each other. So, but actually, one thing I see is good is that we as a consumer or maybe like developer like you have more choices. If you have more
Yes,
competition.
absolutely.
Okay, so there is a compliment.
Thank you so much.
Can we create our post from scratch?
Sure, I'll quickly show you. Can you please share my screen?
Sure.
I think he wants the manual post creation. I'll just select the create your own post from scratch. As you see, all of the options go away. I'll just click on create my post. This kind of opens the plain vanilla post creator. This is it. So it has a default creative. You can edit that creative and write your own whatever text you want to write. You can make changes to it. Within the caption, there are it's a blank screen. You can write your own caption here. Now, once you do this, the hashtags will populate according to the caption and the creative, and the suggestions would come in. So this is your like from scratch or manual way of creating a post. The hashtags are kind of free. I mean, with a manual post, you can generate hashtags as many times as you want. So that's a part of the deal.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Good. Let's move on. This is a simple question from Busat.
Templates need. Yeah, so what we are trying to do is while we are adding new templates, we are trying to also segment them into different categories. Some are professional, some would be minimalistic, and all. So we are definitely trying to take care of this aspect. Can credits be shared? Yes. I mean, the credits are at an account level. So 60 credits for one code will be shared between two workspaces, and you can choose to distribute them as you like.
Okay.
Is there option to resize the creatives? Yes, there is. I will quickly show it to you. If you can just allow my screen to be shown. Let me take this example. And within this edit creative, we have this resize option. Just let it load. So within this resize, there are different options. So let's say this is, I think, the post format. If I click on Facebook post, as you see, it kind of resized it. Facebook ad, obviously, creatives by default, I don't think so can be resized. So you'll have to make some changes to it. But yes, I mean, basically, you can definitely resize them like this.
Okay, thank you for the demo. Okay, this is an interesting question.
This is unfortunately not possible. I mean, why? Because our cost kind of gets incurred at that point of time. So this is something which we cannot allow. But yes, I agree that sometimes the AI does give stupid outputs. So for that, we are trying to further tune the AI. We are also trying to introduce a feedback kind of a mechanism, a basic thumbs up, thumbs down kind of a mechanism, wherein you can at least tell the AI this was stupid, and so the AI can be trained. But yes, overall, at a delete post thing, this is something which again was asked a lot of times in the group, and this is something we are implementing. You will be able to delete post, but the credits won't be regained.
But then if the AI actually go crazy, but we can actually highlight to you and maybe you can
Yes,
consider.
absolutely, absolutely. This is what. Okay.
Okay, I think that is already answered. Okay.
So, I mean, the cap is basically a number of posts. So, one code gives you 60 generated posts. So, the way I kind of showed you those posts which are being generated. So, like that, you can create 60 posts. Now, once you create those posts, you can make creatives, sorry, you can make captions within that post. You can generate as many creatives as you want. You can duplicate those posts, make changes to that, all of that. Those do not consume creatives. The only time when credits are consumed is when you generate that post the first time.
Okay.
Do you have folder option for post? Not right now. I mean, yes, tags or folders as you want to call it is kind of part of the plan.
I mean, right now you have text, right?
No, we do not have those tags available as of now. The post kind of, they are kind of getting dumped into that content library. I mean, yes, we do plan to organize it soon.
Okay, that will be useful because if you have a lot of posts, then it will be crazy searching, you know.
Yes. Do you have a post approval process? Not right now. And I'll tell you, when we had launched, I obviously do keep on talking to a lot of users. So I spoke to a couple of agency clients, I mean, agency users, and I asked them, if I build you a approval workflow, would you use it? And I'm not sure why, but all of them kind of refused. And their logic was that I don't want to tell my client that I'm using an AI generator like this. So even if you make your post approval bit, I will not use it. So which is why we kind of push that down the roadmap. But yes, I mean, it's still on the roadmap. We will have it.
But then would it happen into your agency plan?
So we are introducing a post preview option that will be available in this plan, and this approval workflow. Yes, I mean, it would be available in the agency plan.
Okay, so just take note about that.
Yes. Do you plan to make the 8 trainable? Yes, I mean, I think we will start with the tones. So the different type of tone of voices, that is the first thing we would do. And yes, then the idea is that you can give us, I would say, certain inputs by which you would want to train the AI and kind of tell it to kind of start making content in your format.
I mean, that is I mean, one of the best development in the AI technology because I mean, this has been demonstrated by this. I mean, it's a little bit off topic a bit. You know, closest copy. You know, the other AI writer. So he has trained the AI framework. You know, I mean, Nico. You know, the founder has trained. So it's getting very popular right now. You know, because
Yes.
mostly people are doing for long form. So you actually do the training. You know, so I hope, you know, if you can do that, then that would be very good.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's just a matter of priorities and what are you basically trying to solve with that tool. Now, since our focus is not on long form, it's more about social media content. So obviously, we would want to pick up all of those pieces and kind of take them hand in hand. So I mean, we picked up creatives because obviously everybody said, and I kind of agree that the creatives sucked. So which is why we kind of picked up creatives. Now, since they are done, we are going to schedule scheduling and all those things. So yes, I mean, all those things will also be available. It's just that since there are multiple parts to the process, we are trying to improve one part at a time.
Okay. I think that this was answered, right?
Yes, I mean, Instagram and Facebook are supposed to be out by next end of next month, and yes, once we do that, then we would have other platforms also.
Okay. Okay, this is an interesting question. Can code from AI as applied on top of PG code?
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
it can be. It can be, and we actually had a couple of users who did that. Just that you won't be able to do it from the front end. If you have that, we have this chat option available, and just tell us on the chat, and we'll apply it immediately.
okay, this is a pro tip, from Prabhas.
You can actually use a multiple caption to repurpose. Yes, yes, absolutely, Pravash. And I also do this. I mean, whenever, I mean, I am also trying to be regular on all social media platforms. But yes, this is something which I also keep on telling all users that you can just slightly repurpose and use it. Yes, I absolutely agree. Thank you. Does it allow animated GIFs? Not right now. Videos and GIFs are on the roadmap. We should have it sometime.
These are last few question. Pinterest
Is
on the
Pinterest
roadmap.
on the roadmap? Yes, yes, yes. So from a template perspective, I told you that we are trying to generate more templates, and we do intend to make Pinterest specific templates. And yes, I mean both from a computer analysis and scheduling, Pinterest is on the roadmap. Just that for some reason, Pinterest has been very selective in, I would say, giving API approvals. So that might take some time, but yes, we will have it. I mean, see, overall plan is as a company, we are trying to solve the content creation bit, like giving you ideas what type of content to make. After that, it is just a matter of distributing it on different platforms. Sorry. Can I search my previous created? Yes, very good suggestion actually, and I'll make a point of it in our internal roadmap. We will definitely implement this.
Okay, so I think we have actually answered most of the question. I
Okay,
skipped some of the questions because some of them are repeating itself. So now is 11:17. So we
sure,
have almost about 20 minutes. So we should do the giveaway now. And
sure,
but
sure,
we
sure.
need to what you call collect the names. There are many who join in later. Now it's about 27, 26 people. So let
Got
me
it.
go
Sorry
into.
to interrupt you, Albert. I think Som has kind of shared that Excel sheet. Oh, sorry, the doc. If you can just
Yeah,
let me share my screen. Yes, I think the output is good.
yes.
Okay, so tips to build a successful social media campaign when you have, yes, this is the caption, which is nice. Post idea tips to online negativity. Yes, I think this is also good. Wow. Okay. Share a guide how to conduct a social media audit. Oh, yes, this is also good. I think yes, I kind of agree with what you're saying. The output is this is a good output. I'm sure. I hope that you have kind of used it for your own handle or for whichever client you have kind of done this. If you are fine with it, I would also want to share this Doc inside our Predis.ai Facebook group. I think a lot of users might be happy looking at this.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. Because I was searching for names. Okay, let me. I have prepared this views of name, but then I need to give me a few minutes to copy down all the names.
Sure.
So because there are so many who came in later. I hope to find all the names here.
Sure. Meanwhile, let me just answer. There are a couple of questions I see.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can just answer
User
that.
is asking, when are you planning to bring TikTok support? So, I think second or somewhere around the third quarter of this year. I think by that time we should have all of those other platforms out, and this, yes, we will look at TikTok. Another thing, as I said, was this whole API access thing from India. So we will have to set up a server outside India, which is not a big deal, but yes. Okay, so yes, thank you, and I hope you agree. And I will basically share this in our Facebook group, the Predis.ai Facebook group also. Users can also train AI in CC. Okay, Pinterest. I think yes. Rest of the questions have been answered.
Okay, you can continue to answer while I typing all the names.
Sure, sure.
Okay, looks like a lot of people today. Okay. Joseph Wong. Because the names are on our chat box in Restream, some of them don't have the name, so it's difficult. And then the Facebook, I have to go and search another screen to look at the Facebook. So it's always a difficult for us to look for the names. Never mind.
No problem.
Uh,
I think meanwhile, Alex has a question. Can we upload our own images for templates? What are the limitations in regards to server storage? So as of now, there are no limitations, but we are trying to have a overall somewhere around 2,000 to 5,000 images per account is what we are trying to see. Obviously, I mean, it will be a very reasonable limit. I mean, and the limit would be, I would say, enforced just to make sure that somebody is not trying to game the system. That's it. So in all probability, for a fair use, you can always use it. Tanmay are considering building the backend similar to later visual first rather than Bubbler. Sarang, essentially, I'll tell you when we are trying to build this, the first thought is that how well will this be used on a mobile? So I'm not sure. I mean, if you ask me, I think it will be a mix of those two. Because if you do a very visual first kind of UI, then invariably it does not scale well on mobile phones because then you have a lot of space constraint and all those things. So yes, I mean, as I said, it will be kind of a mix. Aditya asks, any plans to revisit AppSumo in the future? I am definitely 100% sure. And I mean, you can, I don't know, like, if I'm ready to sign on a stamp paper, but I don't think so. We'll come on AppSumo after this. Why? Because I'll tell you what happens is from a growth perspective, I mean, at least it is my experience. I'm not sure about other LTDs. Once you have an LTD running, it becomes very difficult to go out to users and kind of try and sell the MRR plans. And obviously, I mean, anybody would ask that, do you have an LTD? And you really cannot lie. I mean, you have to say that, yes, I have an LTD. So it kind of becomes a challenge. And for any SaaS company, I think MRR is the most paramount thing. So we already have started focusing on MRR. Mostly by end of this month, we will also be starting performance marketing to focus on MRR. So, and which obviously is very paramount. So I honestly don't think we will ever have an LTD after this. Very, yeah.
okay, so I have
So yep, sorry. I think there are two, three questions. Can we make IG Reels or schedule it in the near future? So Reels is something for which Instagram is still not given APIs. In fact, within the competitor analysis section, we still do not get access to Reels. So whatever analysis you see, that is on posts, like static posts and image and videos. So I mean, obviously, if Instagram gives that access, we would be happy to do that. Please bring a LinkedIn integration. Yes, fast. I'm not sure how fast can I. I mean, because there is already a lot on the plate. We are a small team, but yes, I mean, definitely it's on the roadmap. Can you share percentage of users that are on MRR? I have 5 users in total who are on MRR right now. Overall, I think we would have what 900 users now. So I mean, sub 1%. I think that's. But yeah, I mean, we do intend to focus very, I would say, religiously and very seriously on that.
that's good. Okay, so should we do the draw now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I will just hide your face now. Okay, guys, you see that this is your what I call the screen. Let me go into this. So I'm not sure whether all your names are there. Hold on, hold on. So there are 30 names here. So I just have to shuffle it. So I hope everybody's names are inside. So if you don't see your name, can you just type in your chat there so that I can edit now? Anybody? Me, Ahmad D, Javid, I think your name is there, right? Not there? Okay, let me just add it. Okay, your name is there actually, Amadi Javid. Sorry. Okay, should we spin now? Okay, should we spin now, Tami?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Sarang Gambhir is saying his name is not there. I'm not sure if you can check.
What's name?
Sarang Gambhir. Can you check his
Sarang
name?
Gavi. Sarang, you are the last few person. No, another few more guys. Stephen Chow. Okay, let me add it, so that everybody have some chance. Sarang, Stephen Chow. Okay, that's it. I will spin now. Okay, Sean D'Souza. So are you there? Sean D'Souza, are you there? Sean, if you're around, please.
Yeah, he is
Okay.
there. He is saying his name.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Or else if you have to draw again. Congratulations, Sean D'Souza. So hopefully, you'll like this app. So before we actually end, let me. Oh, Pong Nam Nguyen, I just saw your name. Very sorry because I mean there are too many names, So you missed the chance. Okay, thank you, guys. Let me have to conclude this what they call this LTD Facebook live session and giveaway. And for those who did not win or your names are not put inside the draw, my apologies. So, but anyway, there are many more LTD giveaway coming along. So today we are lucky to have this Tame to answer all the questions that you have asked. And actually, I think he has actually done a very good demo on this Predis.ai Facebook live session here. And I would like to say thank you to Tame for being here. And also not forgetting all the audience, the spend 1.5 hours with us, right up to now. So it is actually already 1.5 hours now. So thank you guys, and we hope that, to see you again in the next Facebook live session. And Tami, would you like to say something to the audience?
Yes, just want to thank everybody, starting from you, Albert, for this opportunity, and very grateful that so many people are there, like for 1.5 hours, asking questions. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so before we go back, before we leave, just to do some advertisement, if you need to buy this LTD, you can go to LTD Delify link, or you can go to AppSumo link. It's up to you, because they are actually the same product, only thing that is a different platform. So, I mean, this is my short link to the Delify platform. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you for your time, and also we'll see you again next time. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.